Hi, thank you for taking the time to be interested in ERA5 data and EPW files. Today I'm going to tell you how to use the Veracious Weather File Processor and the Virtuous Weather File Bot. Now these programs work hand in hand with each other, and it's extremely important that you read the documentation before watching this video. Now, I'm going to be showing you step-by-step process of how to get these programs running, and I'm also going to offer tips on how to maximize your efficiency. So let's get started. Just scroll down here and find Visual Studio Code. Now we're going to need to download Visual Studio Code in order to use these programs. Download whichever version for your operating system. After we have Visual Studio Code downloaded, we also want to get Python. So we can get Python by heading to this website here and downloading the latest version. Now that we have Python and Visual Studio Code downloaded, we can extract the package from GitHub. Now, the GitHub package can be found from my GitHub if no other package has been provided for you. You simply want to head to the GitHub page and then copy the URL. You want to head back and you want to open up a terminal. A new terminal can be opened up from going to terminal and a new terminal. Once you have the terminal open, it will display something like this, right? So now I want to choose where I want to download all the files, so the package. So I'm going to change directory to my desktop. So once I'm in my desktop, I'm going to do git clone and then paste the link. Now this is going to clone the directory into my desktop. So now if I go here and I go to my desktop, you should see the ERA5 processor here. So now that we can see that the package has been successfully cloned into the desktop directory, we can just drag and drop all the files here. Now, if you're wondering how you get these files in different tabs, you can check all your files here first of all, and see this is the documentation. Now let's say I want to see it in a different view, so I can have it on this screen, and then I can also have the code here, which can really help me out. Anyways, let's get on to the next step. So the file management should exactly be like this. Now you can see our files management right over here. We don't have Guelph, Ontario because we haven't done a city yet, so it's not going to appear there. Now we're going to have to set up the other dependencies. So you're going to open up your terminal and we're going to type in pip install Selenium. If you want to check that Python is installed, you just type in this, and then it should show the version of Python that you have, as well as if you want to check if Selenium has been downloaded correctly, you can also type in this, and it should show this. So now that we have that done, now we want to download the Chrome driver. Now this is going to be used to automate the bot that uses Chrome to request and download all the ERA5 data. So now you're just going to download the most recent release. It should already be in this over here. It should already be extracted here, but if it's not, and if you have a different package, then you can download it from here. Just make sure that when you download it, you have to have it in the certain directory, otherwise it's not going to work. You have to make sure that it's in the ERA5 bot directory. Now, once that's done, you're going to make sure that you have Chrome downloaded, Google Chrome. Now, if you don't already have it downloaded, just come here, download Google Chrome. Now, we have to learn to use all these variables here because we're going to be using these variables every single time we choose a different city. For example, my city that I'm doing currently is going to be Charlottetown. The province is going to be PE. And you have to make sure that these spellings are correct and the punctuation, everything is correct. Because these are going to make different directories for the other program, the Veracious Weather File Processor. And if the spelling is not correct, then something could get messed up. You also want to put in your north coordinate, your south coordinate, west, east coordinate, and they're all going to be put over here. Now, the download starting button, I'll discuss that in a bit. Now, these are the groups. over here. The groups are associated with certain emails, start year, end year, and different choices. Now, choice 1 is for requesting ERA5 data. Okay? Choice 2 is for requesting ERA5 LAN data. And choice 3 is for downloading ERA5 data. Now, when we first start out with the program, we want to do it with group 1. Okay? So, I highly recommend that you turn on autosave for this. You can go here and just click autosave on. Right now it's off, so I'm going to turn it back on. And what this does is that when you change variables, like say you want to choose your group, right? If you want to choose group 1, then you just change it to group 1, and then it saves itself, and then you can start up the program again. If you don't do that, then you're going to have to go to File, and you have to save your program each time you want to run it again. To start up the program, we're going to do Python or Python 3 Virtuous Weather File Bot.py. Oh, I see the problem. We forgot to head into the ERA5 bot directory. Since we are currently in the ERA5 Processor directory, the only code that we can run here directly. Now we don't want to run that. We want to run Virtuous Weather File Bot first. So first we want to go and change directory into ERA5 bot. Sorry, misspelled that. CD ERA5 bot. Okay, now we're in the ERA5 bot directory. Now you can press the up arrow key on your keyboard and it can bring up past things that you have typed in the terminal, so it's easier, you don't have to type it in again. So now we're going to run the program. It might take a couple of seconds for the driver to work and for it to open up Google Chrome, but once Google Chrome opens up, you'll know that the program is running successfully. There. So Google Chrome has now opened up. It's going to automatically log into the account, and here it says no request found. So there's nothing that has been requested yet. It's also going to tell us our choices, start year, end year, and the city and province that we are doing. So now that it's chosen it shows us this over here. And this is saying enter Y when you have deleted all previous requests. We'll cover this afterwards, but for now, since there's no request, we're just going to press Y. So now that it has proceeded to the request page, if you're on Mac, you can press the F3 function key, which is going to bring up all the tabs open that you have. This is extremely useful for this program. So now we're going to head to the Google Chrome that is opened up. So now that we're just going to follow along with what the instructions here say. So we're going to ensure under radiation and heat, which is this area, we're going to see that surface thermal radiation downwards, surface solar radiation downwards, and total sky direct solar radiation at surface has been selected. We're also going to ensure that the year is 1980 as it corresponds to this start year here. Okay, and it's in January, all days are selected, time is selected, and these should all be filled in correctly. Now, don't press submit form. Make sure you do not press that. Come over to the program and press Y, or enter Y. So now you can see that the program has started running. It's gonna just go ahead and it's going to process all these requests. If you can see over here, there's been an error, which is that it hasn't deleted the duplicate January 1st. Now, sometimes this can happen. It's fine. We can change that afterwards. Perfect. So now that all of the requests have been done, we can see as it's reached the last month and the last year of the group. Right? So we had one error message that we have to take care of. Confirm or delete January duplicate. It's not been found. So we're just going to head back, and we always have around, I think it's around 2 minutes to make these corrections after the program is finished requesting all the requests for that group. So we can check the duplicate here. So as you can see here, we have these two duplicates. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the most bottom one. We're going to go all the way up and we're going to delete it. Now we should see that all the other ones are going in a proper order. As you can see, February, March, and April. That means that it's been successfully done. Now my 2 minutes ran out and that's why the Google Chrome shut down, but it's all good because I made sure that the duplicate was removed and everything else was removed. So if you didn't have enough time in that 2 minute grace period after the program ended, or sorry, 1 minute, you're just gonna run the program again and it's gonna load up, it's gonna log in, and it's gonna take us to the request page, right? So just hold on, just wait for the program. There. And now we're going to go down and we can delete it from here. Now, since we want to ignore all this, we're going to press Control and C, and that's going to end the program. Okay. So to request the remainder of the data for the remainder of the groups, we are going to have to change the groups here. So now we're going to change it to group 2, and we can rerun the program. And now just follow the same steps from step 1 and we should be good. Okay. I also want to show you the way that I do this to maximize my efficiency, right? So if you want to maximize your efficiency, I can recommend doing this. Okay, you just have these open until you have all the groups fitting into here, right? So we have 4 now, 5, 6, 7, and 8 since we already did the first group. So now I want to do group 3 and Python 3 Virtuous Weather File Bot.py, and the program should run there. So now you can see that this is for group 2, this is for group 3. That's how you know you're doing this correctly. For this, I'm going to choose group 4, and again we're going to type in Python 3 Virtuous Weather File Bot.py, just to make it easier so I don't have to keep on typing this. I'm going to copy this. It seems to be that I didn't copy this correctly. Let's try it again. See, when I copied it, it didn't put the space in there, so I guess I'll just type it out each time. You see, now I messed up, right? I requested the wrong group in this section. So I'm going to just press Control C, and we're going to go back to group 5 because we have 4 over here. So we want to have 5 over here. I entered all of them. You can check to make sure that all the groups are correct as they're increasing by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just here, we're gonna make sure that we have the F3 key. Okay, we're gonna press. This is our first time, so everything is gonna be deleted. It's fine. So just press yes on all of them. Okay. Now you're gonna open up and go to the next page. So now we're just gonna check here if all the information is correct. Now, since some of these are for the requesting ERA land data, which is choice 2 over here, then they have different values. Now we can refer to the documentation for which values need to be clicked, and you can see them all over here. Now, we need to ensure that all these values are clicked, right? So we're gonna go to this one, I'm gonna go over here. It seems that these are all good, so we're gonna just leave the page there. So now we're gonna be able to tell that we looked at that one because the page is over there, on that portion and not at the coordinates portion, right? So again, this one, yeah, we're good over here. So these two are good. We're gonna go up. Yeah, these look good too. We're just gonna repeat the same steps for all of them. Now this process is actually more prone to error, right? So you want to make sure that if you are taking this approach by doing them all at the same time, instead of doing them one at a time, that you have everything properly checked, right? So yeah, all of them are good to go. So we're just gonna go here. We're gonna type in yes for all of them. And we don't have to worry about this message, to delete all requests not found, because we don't have to delete all the previous requests yet, right? Because we had no previous requests. So that's all fine. We can ignore those errors. I'm just going to expand this here so that we have a full view of everything. And we're just going to wait now. So now that we have majority of them almost done, they're all done now. We're just going to check if we have any errors. So this one is good. This one is just a delete January duplicate. So we can delete that now, or we can actually do that after during the download steps process as well. We can check this one. Same thing. It's just duplicate requests are fine, and delete all requests. They're fine right now because we do not have any prior requests. So let's just check this. We're good here. We're good here. Good here as well. And we're good here as well. So since we're good on all of these, we don't really have to worry that much. And we are good to go for the next step. We just have to wait around a day. And in a day, all these requests should be downloaded. So it's been around a day now since we requested all these files. So the next step is going to be to download everything. But it's crucial that you re-request everything one more time. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is because, say, for example, some requests become unavailable, right? So when you want to download them, they're not going to get downloaded. And that becomes a problem because the program, it goes chronologically from the bottom to the top and downloads all the files. Now, if it misses a file, then it's gonna cause more complications afterwards. So some files are unavailable, but you can only see that they're unavailable after you try to click download and they don't download. So what we have to do is we have to re-request everything. Now, when I first requested these files, remember there were no previous requests, so we didn't have to delete them, right? Now we have to delete them. So we're gonna delete them. Don't worry about it. It's not gonna take that long because all the files that have been successfully requested and that are still available to download, that are not unavailable, they're cached. So that means that it's only going to re-request the files that are unavailable. So now we're just going to go up here and we're going to have to select the variables one more time, and we're going to just do this. And we're going to press yes. So again, it didn't confirm the delete of the duplicate January. We can worry about that afterwards. That's fine. So we're just gonna wait for it to request everything. And you also want to make sure that you also repeat this process for every single other group. In the video, I only did it for one, but make sure you do it for all the other groups. So now that we can check that, we're just gonna scroll up and see that everything's been requested properly here. And it says that it has, so we're gonna just cancel the program, rerun it, and we're just gonna wait for it to pull up again. Might take around 10-15 seconds. Okay, now that it's done, we can see that everything is actually available. that means that nothing had to be re-requested. And we're going to delete the duplicate January over here. Okay. And now we can begin with the downloading portion of this. Now we're going to make sure that the same group that we just checked is good. And now it's going to be choice 3 because we're going to download ERA data. So we're just going to cancel the program, rerun it. And now we have to pay attention. It's very important that we pay attention to the download starting number over here. This is extremely important for downloading anything, okay? So what we need to do to get that number is we need to right click, inspect. We need to click this over here, and you should expand your browser so that you're able to see the download button. And we need to look at the bottom here. And you want to make sure that there's no duplicate January, as this can mess up the entire thing. You're going to have to re-download it. So we look here. We're going to double click and we're going to copy full XPath. Now you want to make sure that the box is highlighted like this, okay? And you know it's going to be correct when you have something like this, okay? We're going to pay attention to the number over here right next to T body. It's 238. That means that we're going to put 238 here, okay? And we're going to have to restart the program because remember that number wasn't there when the program started. It was, if I believe, 100 something. Okay, so we have to restart the program with the correct download starting button there. Okay, now that we do that, see, it even asks you to confirm when you have changed the download starting number and have restarted the program, and we have done that. So we're gonna click yes, and now it should start downloading our things, and you can see it has started downloading. We can even open up the downloads here, and we can see it changing them. So it's important to make sure that you're monitoring this as it goes along, as some of them might have not been downloaded. Like, for example, you see here for the November and December files, they haven't been downloaded. So to fix that, we can just go into the program, we can restart it, and we're going to have to manually download them and store them in the folder. So one thing that I would recommend is going into the settings and going to downloads and ask where to save each file before downloading. Make sure you turn that on. This is going to be important so that it doesn't just save the file here. Well, for now it's fine because it's going to go to your downloads folder. But afterwards, when you're downloading the ERA5 LAN data, you want to make sure that that's going into the correct directory. So we're just going to put 1999 here. And since this is for November, I'm going to do that. Since this one is for December, we're just going to do this right here. Okay. Once you have all these files, you should just select them all. Yep. Select them, and there should be 240 of them. So before we select them, actually, we should make a new folder. We should name it ERA5. Okay, so now we're going to select the folder one time, or sorry, select all the files. And just put them into the ERA5 folder. And this ERA5 folder should go into the desktop here, ERA5 processor. Since this is our Charlottetown, put in Charlottetown PE, and I'm going to put the ERA5 file right into there. And we are done the ERA5 data for group 1. These group 1 and group 2 are the only groups that have ERA5 data. All other groups have ERA5 LAN data. So for those, it's a different step. But after you're done group 1, repeat the steps for group 2. As I selected all the ERA5 files for group 1, it had 240 files. That's because it's doing the years 1980 through 1999. For group 2, it's only doing years 2007 to 2020. So that's why it's only going to have, I think, 168 files. Anyways, now we can just repeat the same step as you did for group 1 for group 2. And now we're going to move on to group 3. And this is going to be to download ERA5 LAN data. Now, as you can notice, the program actually doesn't have a choice for that. That's because we're going to do it manually. Now that our group is 3, and it's also important to note, first of all, that when you're doing these things, you should do them one by one. You should only do it all at once if you want to, only when requesting them for efficiency. So we can get rid of all these terminals as we only need one, right? We don't want to take up space. It also gets harder to read the text. So you just right click and you kill terminal. There. Now, you want to cancel this program. It's not canceling for some reason, so we'll just open up a new terminal here. There. ERA5 Processor. That's because all my files are from that directory. So we can check the directory that we're at from here. Now I want to change directory into ERA5 Bot. That's where my Virtuous Weather File Bot is. So, and we're just going to type in Python 3. There. So now it's group 3. Choice really doesn't matter because we're not going to press yes to anything. We're just going to manually do everything. So we're just going to wait for it to log in. And especially for downloading ERA5 data, it's really important that we go to the downloads here and we ask to save before downloading. Now, we're going to check for duplicates. You should always check for duplicates whenever you're about to download. And we also want to check that everything else is fine. Like, is this the last year? Yep, it is the last year and the last month for that group, so we're fine. So now we're going to start to download these files. I'm just going to go over to the correct directory, just right here, and we're going to create a new directory called ERA5 land. Okay, now that we have this directory created, it's important to note that the file name has to be exactly correct, or else the next program is not going to work correctly. This has a slightly different name. It's going to be ERA5 land, followed by the year. So I think the year for this is 1980. So it's going to be 1980 January, and we just leave it there. It's going to be a zip file. That's fine. Don't worry about that. And we're just going to repeat this process. A quick tip is you can copy this here, and you can press Command Shift and then the left arrow key, and then Command C to copy this, so that the only thing that you have to change after this is the month for that year. So when we go to March, we just do Command V and type in March. It's much faster. Now repeat this for every single year, for every single month. If, say, you click this and it says that it's unavailable, well then just simply request the data again. Everything that's cached will stay there, and it'll only re-download or process your request for the files that are unavailable. Come back when those are done, and then download it, add it to the file, and then we can move on to the next step. Once we have completed downloading all the ERA5 and the ERA5 LAN files for all the groups, we are ready to proceed to the next step. Now for this, we're going to end up using the Veracious Weather File Processor. So right now we are in the ERA5 directory, which can be seen here. We're going to change our directory to go back to the parent directory of ERA5 Processor. That's because our program file is over there. So to view our program files, we can type in ls and space -la, and we can see all our files in this directory. So we're going to run this file. So then processor.py, and we're going to run it. Now, oh sorry, I almost forgot. We actually have to open up the processor here, and we have to make sure that all our values are the same as the other values. So we have Charlottetown, PE. We would make sure our latitude and longitude values are also the same. So we need to make sure that the lat is in the middle of north and south, and that the longitude is in the middle of west and east, the middle number in between them. We want to make sure that these are the correct values. We also want to search up the GMT offset for the specific region, which is Charlottetown for us. So if we check here, we need to type in GMT, we need to type in -3. And for time offset, it has to be -3 too. But the difference here is for time offset, it always has to be -3.0. Now it's important that you do that. It's important that you check all these. Once these are done, you are good to go. Now, this is our menu here. It tells us what their start year is, end year is, and everything else. The first step that we need to do is that we need to unzip all of the ERA5 LAN files. This is because when we download the ERA5 LAN files, they're in a zipped format, but the program can only process them when they're in an NC format. So we're just going to type in 3, enter that, and it's going to say this: all files in Charlottetown PE have been unzipped and renamed. Perfect. Now we're going to move on to the next step, and we're going to type in 1. Now it's just going to start processing all of these files. Once we have successfully generated the EPW files for 1980 to 1999, we want to do 2007 to 2020. Okay, so we're just going to run the program. And you want to make sure that if you already have the program running from 1980 to 1999, you want to cancel the program. So press Control-C in the terminal and then run the program again so that the new start year and end year can register. So we just want to type in 1. So once we have successfully created all these files, now we're going to fix or modify the files by entering in 2. And that's it. Now we're done. All of them have been done. And we can check this by actually going to Charlottetown. Modified EPW files should be there for each year. And that's it. That's how you generate and modify EPW files from two groups, 1980 to 1999 and 2007 to 2020. Thank you guys for using the program. And if you have any other questions or need any other assistance, read the documentation thoroughly. And in the troubleshooting section, you can actually see that I have included my email here, so you can reach out to me if you have any other inquiries.